we believe that, and the First Lady Peggy and I, she grew up on a full-time farm in Burbank, Oklahoma. And Burbank, I'll tell the folks who might see this, is located between Pawhuska and Ponca City. It once was a huge oil field, the Burbank oil fields. And so today, there's still a small community there. They lost their school. Their school combined with Scheidler. So when the school goes, so does the community.
That's right.
And so, but many of the older Drummonds knew Peggy before I did. Fred Drummond, who was one of the patriarchs and a great supporter of
My good friend.
Public education and K-12.
Yes.
You know, he knew Peggy long before I did, growing up there in the shadow of the big Chapman ranches and the Drummond ranches and so forth. Because the Chapman ranches, you know, were in just above Pawhuska, which is today the Chapman Barnard Ranch is the Oklahoma Nature Reserve.
Yes.
And so, thankfully, the Chapman Barnard families were able to sell those ranches to the Nature Conservancy and turn that in. And so I enjoyed some time on the Nature Conservancy during my University of Tulsa days. University of Tulsa had a research station on the Chapman Barnard Ranch, and that was just a piece of heaven. Have a little Bad Brad's barbecue and have a board meeting on the Chapman Barnard Ranch. That was good for this old country boy.
Years ago, a gentleman that lived down at Inola told me about doing a cattle drive from Inola to the Chapman Barnard Ranch.
Wow. You know, and working at the University of Tulsa, you know, many buildings were named after Chapman. So it was great to see that linkage, you know, the oil family but they had a vision for the future. I think the Chapman Barnard, and of course, the Chapman Barnard Ranch is what made Ben's son, Johnson, as he's called.
Yes.
You know, he took some horses, a load of horses to California, and I think that's when he was discovered. But that's another fascinating story. But they were forward thinking and wanting to preserve that prairie. And so the research station on the Chapman Barnard Ranch, and of course the Nature Conservancy is also has purchased other acreage, but that research station is kind of tucked away behind the ranch in one of those little rolling hills. You can't even see it. It attracts researchers from all over the world, not only for that native blue stem, but all of the flowers and the insects, the bugs, the rattlesnakes, everything that's there. It attracts people from all over the world. But that was a special part of my life, is working at the University of Tulsa. Then Peggy and I coming back here in 2008. It was wonderful to be back home and to believe and do what we want to do at this university.